Hi, and welcome back to my channel. This is a really personal topic for me, something that I've been wanting to talk about for a while. That's growing up with 4C hair and also coming from a mixed background. Growing up, I would hear things like my hair was nappy, hard to deal with, and that it wouldn't grow. And this was coming from people that were very close to me. Not my mom, just other people that were in my family. And also at school. I used to get teased at school because they said my hair was nappy. And growing up, you start to internalize that, especially when all the images you see of beautiful women are with straight or curly hair, and that's what people idolize. And I also want to talk about something that I don't think people talk about enough, and that's coming from a mixed background and having kinkier texture hair or 4C hair, or maybe not having certain features, because it's almost like you're expected to have this hair texture or look a certain way. And when you don't, it could be really disappointing to certain people in your family or even outsiders. They might be like, well, this family member looks like this or has this texture of hair. So why don't you? And it can feel really hurtful, and you can really internalize that. Like, okay, this family member looks like this. Why don't I look like this? Like, why don't I have these features or this hair texture? And it can really get to you as a kid, especially if you're being criticized by adults. And growing up in the 80s and the 90s, that was a totally different type of vibe. It wasn't like now where natural hair is more acceptable. And there's nothing wrong with straight or curly hair. But that was the thing back then, and relaxers were in. And I actually got my first relaxer when I was 6. I felt so beautiful because my hair was long and silky, and my mom used to do really beautiful plaits and braids with my hair, and my hair would flow down my back. So I felt beautiful. But then, like, after a few weeks, when the relaxer would start growing out, I wouldn't feel as beautiful. So I used to ask my mom to perm my hair more often. So she started perming my hair basically every 4 to 5 weeks. And when she would perm my hair every 4 to 5 weeks, my hair was actually still really healthy, because she only would perm the roots, and she really took good care of my hair. And she kept it moisturized, she washed it, she conditioned it, like she really took care of my hair. But as I got older, I wanted to experiment with more styles. You know, I'm older, so I want to wear my hair down. I want to go to the hairdresser. I want to get it curled. But as I entered that new era in my life, my hair started to break off so badly. It got to a point my hair wouldn't even reach shoulder length. So I'll say, like, in the 9th or 10th grade, my hair was up, like, it was this length. And I started to, like, wear it in bobs, like really short bobs. But I would curl it so much that it would break off really badly. So, okay, you know the 90s, 2000 era when Beyonce was popular. I'm gonna say the 2000s era. When Beyonce was popular, Sierra was popular, all the girl groups, and long straight pretty weave was in. So this is the time I really learned about tracks. I started gluing tracks in my hair. I started sewing hair into my head. And when I would glue it, I would not do it properly because I glued it myself. And when I would get ready to take them out, I wouldn't even take it out properly. So I would just rip it out my hair. And my hair was so short, it got to the point, it was like barely covering the tracks at the top. It was really bad. And this went on well into my early 20s when I was in the military. I lived in Germany, and my mom would actually buy hair in the States, and she would ship it for me because my mom was so sweet. She knew exactly what type of hair that I liked. So it got to the point I would never ever let anybody see me with my natural hair. Even in the military, when we would go to the field and do training, I always had a weave. So this actually went on well into my early 30s. I actually got to the point where I would stop gluing the tracks in my hair. So I tried to do it a healthier way. I would get my hair braided down and I would get it sewn in. So that did help with the length a little bit, but it still wouldn't grow past shoulder length. And as you know, weaves, I was spending like $300 on weaves, maybe $150 to $200 going to the hairdresser. That was actually money that I didn't have because I wasn't making that much money. So sometimes I would spend my entire paycheck on getting my hair done. And it got to the point, this was when everybody was going natural too. And it got to the point where I really just got sick of it all. But I knew I had 4C hair texture. So I was like, if I go natural, I don't know if I'm gonna feel beautiful. I don't know if I'm gonna be attractive to any guys, but I was watching so many 4C hair videos and short afros. I was prepared to do it, and I didn't transition well. So I was 6 weeks post relaxer, and I just cut all my hair off. My hair was so short, you could see my scalp. I'm not gonna lie. And I couldn't even find products to put in it to make it look, I guess, a little more curly or I guess more presentable. So yeah, I was just kind of raw dogging it. I actually went to work the next day. I was so insecure. I was in the military. I was in my uniform, and we had a kind of like a work party at work. I honestly didn't want to go because I was so insecure about my hair. And this lady said in front of everybody, she said, she looked directly at me, and she said, women do not cut their hair to look like men. And everybody in the room turned around and looked at me. And when I tell you, I felt so small in the moment. I felt so small, and my feelings were hurt. Now, mind you, I'm not talking about the lady, but she had a head full of weave. You could tell like her hair was really, really short, and she wasn't taking care of her hair. So she actually had a complex within herself, but I was facing mine head on. But as the time went on, I actually really started to love my hair and the texture. I used to wear afros and twist outs so much. I got to the point, like, I honestly really didn't care what people thought. If they thought my hair was nappy, they thought it was nappy, but I was in love with my hair. And I wore a fro. I'm going to say I wore a fro for a few years. And I thought about locking my hair back in high school because I saw Lauryn Hill, and her locks was so beautiful. I thought Lauryn Hill was just extremely beautiful, and I wanted hair like hers, but I didn't have the confidence in high school. You know, the early 2000s, the girl group era. I didn't have the confidence then. So I was like, okay, I think I'm ready to lock my hair. I'm really indecisive, so I wasn't 100% sure. I kept going back and forth, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna lock my hair. I had nice length to my hair. It was mid-back, but it would shrink up really short. So when I got my locks, she did it in 2-strand twists, and it was really pretty. It actually did shrink up a lot after like really a few days. It was like right here, and then it shrunk up to like right here. But eventually, I'm gonna say after a good year, they dropped back down. it took about, my hair locked up fast. My hair locked up in about 3 to 4 weeks. And I don't like saying the ugly stage because there's no ugly stage. I'm going to say in between stage before I got really comfortable with my locks when I could, like when I wasn't on military duty or whatever. I would wear a lot of hair wraps. I got a lot of very colorful hair wraps that match my outfit, and they made me feel really comfortable in my transition stage. And I got a lot of compliments on my hair wraps. And it doesn't matter what other people think, but it doesn't matter what other people think. It only mattered what I felt about myself. But it did make me feel good when I would get those compliments. And along my lock journey, I have made some mistakes. I made a few mistakes. Like I overly dyed my hair. So my hair is not really even. My hair is kind of uneven from the dye, and it got weak at the ends, and I had to, like, pieces like this, I had to tie them up. So I'm slowly cutting that out. So I learned not to dye my hair anymore. But I have made some mistakes since I have my locks. But I'll be honest, getting locks is the best hair decision I ever made. And I'm so grateful that I decided not to follow the crowd and go with my instincts and go natural, because going natural was the most beautiful and most confident I ever felt in my whole life. So I would say if you're ever thinking about going natural and you have coarse or kinky hair, 4B, 4C hair, I would say just do it. Find the confidence in yourself to do it. Don't worry about the opinions of others. Worry about how you feel about yourself, and find your own unique ways to do it and make it beautiful and jazz it up. You could do hair wraps. You can find hair inspiration on Pinterest. And I'm going to tell you, since I went natural or got my locks, this is the most money I've saved in my whole life. Now, you can get locks. When I would get a retwist, I started to pay $230, $250 every time I got a retwist. So I finally decided to go semi-freeform. And when I decided to go semi-freeform, I saved myself so much money and so much time. And I don't buy a lot of hair products. I don't spend a lot of time on my hair. I'm okay with my roots being puffy, but I save a lot of money. I save a lot of time. I will share my hair care routine later. The only thing I really do to my hair, if I do my hair, like I'll braid it during the summertime, and I'll put like maybe 8 to 10 braids in my hair, and that's it. But I have saved so much money going natural and having locks. So I would say to you or anybody who's watching this, if you have coarse or kinky hair and you're worried about going natural, loose natural, or you're worried about locking your hair, just do it. You will feel so much better and so much more confident in yourself. And you can find unique hairstyles on YouTube or Pinterest and find different ways to jazz it up with hair wraps and make it look cute. So if you're thinking about going natural or having locks, just do it. Anyway, so thank you for joining me today in April's Cozy Corner. And if you like the video, hit the like button. And if you want to see more April's Cozy Corner content, please subscribe.